Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to the Bat and the Bandit podcast, episode 12.
How the fuck did that happen?
Lee Rogers, how the fuck did we get to 12 episodes? We were just saying there, not only are we at 12 episodes, but the general consensus, at least in the Larne area, which we know is the centre of the universe, is that people are enjoying it, listening to it, receptive
stop
to
the
it.
Street, man. Everybody's
We do. Like, it gets, it's mad that the people that you don't know. Obviously, Lee and I come from a sphere. Obviously, introductions. My name's Phil Campbell. This is my best friend in the whole wide world, the inimitable, irrepressible Mr. Lee Rogers. I was saying it. People are stopping us on the street now and being like, "You're the boys do the podcast." Like, well, I'm also an award-winning commentator, but never mind. He's also an award-winning musician. Like, but people who wouldn't have known of us in any other kind of sphere are stopping us and having a wee chat about. Do you fucking hear that? Fuck. We shoulder went. People are stopping us. People are stopping us and having a wee conversation about the podcast, which is cool.
It is cool.
Which we love.
We do.
Because usually when I get stopped by a man who's probably my age or a wee bit older,
you buck my girl.
that's usually my first thought. I'm turning the bladed stance and everything right away, being like, "Are you Phil Campbell? Who wants to fucking know?"
Who's asking?
But yes, it's classmate, and
thank you so much, everybody that's listening. We fucking appreciate that.
For me personally, it's been cool as fuck as well. Just even getting wee messages and shit from people. Like, it's obviously not the reason we started this. The reason
there is therapy involved.
That's what I was about to say. The reason we started this is, and I say this, and it should be the tagline we should put on a fucking t-shirt: "The Bat and the Bandit, cheaper than therapy," because it is just a good excuse for you and I to sit down and talk through some shit. There's an element of catharsis to it. But Lee, how the hell have you been? We do this every time. It's like, how the hell have you been?
Like we haven't seen each other every day in fucking life.
I haven't seen you since, 8 o'clock last night?
Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I went home and got stoned.
Yeah?
And I had too many fucking horrible. Mate, do you ever eat the fizzy horrible? The fucking
Tank Fastics?
Jesus Christ, man. So I had a bag of those.
Right. How high were you?
Like Sweetie Man. I was fucking high as fuck, like. Aye. We're on a different wee fucking dimension.
I know when you've had a wee smoke. Because I'll leave my phone downstairs and I'll go for a pish and I'll come back down and I'll have about 16 reels. Just be like, "Phil, this is funny, isn't it? This is funny. Did you find this is funny?"
Like a fucking child.
But yes.
But I ended up lying in bed last night. I woke up about 4 a.m. Like booking. Like fucking I thought I was getting sick.
Right.
And then I went and I fucking threw it. Just pure fizzy fucking horrible.
Just throwing up a rainbow.
On an empty stomach.
Throwing up a fizzy rainbow.
Ugh.
Disgusting, man.
Yep.
But yeah, listen, it's been about 2 weeks or so since the last episode. What has been going on with you, my brother?
We went to fucking Seattle with Nikita.
Right, talk to me about that.
I'm fucking proud of her, man.
Why were you in Seattle?
Well, nothing to do with me this time. It was she's getting invited to all these book signings.
Yeah.
You know why she wrote a couple of.
You know the way she's a best-selling author.
Best-selling author.
Yeah.
And so we went out there, took a pile of books with her. Well, she gets them ordered, and they're out there waiting on her when she gets there. But fuck, man, a two day convention just sold out in 3 hours.
Fuck me.
So I was just walking about smoking joints and drinking beer.
Just loving life.
It was good. I like Seattle. Seattle's a good city.
Never been.
It's one of those cities very fucking clean and fresh, right on that Canadian border. It's fucking beautiful, man. You're looking right at the Rockies.
And speaking of Canadian, for people who are watching this on YouTube, Lee Rogers is rocking a wee Canadian tuxedo today. Blue denim jacket, blue denim jeans, and a wee hat.
A wee Bigfoot.
You couldn't look more Midwest if you tried, mate. It's a good fucking look, like. But yes, Seattle.
It's a good city.
Weed's legal.
Weed's legal. I went to a dispensary. Obviously, every day I went.
Yeah.
But this one day in particular, it was the last day I was there. I went to a dispensary. It was a couple of doors down from the 7-Eleven. The kid says, "I run in here and get you some munchies, and I know you'll want some crisps and shit." So
was this pre-smoke? Was it
pre-smoke? Right. So I went in and I said to the guy, "Right, this is my last day here, big man. Give me the strongest fucking thing, the strongest pre-roll joint that you have."
Right.
And he said, "Man, are you sure?" And I went, "Yes, 100%. This
German, was he?
This big black guy walked past. I was from Thailand. This big black guy walked past, and he says, "Yeah, Travis, fuck him up." I looked at him and I went, "That's impossible." I kind of went,
Don't poke the bear, mate.
I just like, ways up. Don't be silly. So anyway, give me this pre-roll. And I got outside. I cracked it out of the wee cone and I fucking sparked it up while I was waiting on my wife in the shop.
Yeah.
I took 5 fucking puffs of this thing, man. And I was against I got outside the shop and I kind of tucked myself around and fucking right into the wall. Just get me the fuck back to this hotel. No. This is not right. This is not right. So this black girl, lovely looking black girl, came out of the shop, and she was like, "Hey, honey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, where's that accent from?" She said, "Tattoos all over her face, Phil."
Yeah.
And I was looking at her. I was just, "Tattoos in your face? Are you in a gang?"
Fuck, I'm sure that went down well.
Oh, mate, she stood there, stony face, just kind of crossed her arms across her boobs and looked at me for a minute.
Yeah.
And then she burst out laughing. I said, "Thank fuck you." I said, "Come here, thank fuck you." I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking stoned here. Sorry, I'm not usually like that." You know what I mean?
You thought you were going to be the. You thought you were going to be a statistic.
A couple of lads and all, and they started laughing behind her, but she didn't laugh. Like
you thought you were going to be a fucking statistic. So good fun.
It was I love it, man. I always feel at home in America.
Yeah. Well, that's you've toured there fucking outrageously, really, haven't you?
A lot of time out there. You know.
What's your favourite spot in the States? I've only ever done Vegas and New York.
You know what? I'm not sure what it's like now, but my favourite spot to date would be New Orleans.
Why?
It's just that type of. It's
your vibe, isn't it?
There's something fucking. You can feel the voodoo for start, which I love. I love that kind of.
Is it like is it Haitian? Is it
Haitian voodoo?
Okay.
That would have been the old fucking practices from down there. You know
our
what I mean?
boy Papa Legba.
Papa Legba, absolutely. Yeah,
one of my favourites.
He's our guy, the Crossroads guy.
Correct.
Who Robert Johnson
allegedly
went and sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the devil; it would have been Legba.
And nor did he sell his soul. Nor did he sell his soul. That's a common misconception.
He brought a bottle of rum. You know what I mean?
Rum and tobacco to the Crossroads.
Dark chocolate.
Yep. What was I going to say to you? So yeah, Nikita was in Seattle, obviously with
so fucking proud of her, man.
Mate,
she just watching that girl operate day to day.
Force of nature. One of the things I've noticed about Nikita, and it's an admirable quality that I just do not possess. She has time for everybody, regardless of the situation.
No matter what.
I fucking don't. You see, if I'm like, you've seen it here on Flash Days. You see about
social battery drains quickly.
Very, very quickly. We had we're recording today on the 1st of November. So yesterday was Halloween. Hence we're going to have a wee bit of chat about the paranormal, spooky, all that kind of shit. But yesterday was
up our street.
Yep, yesterday was Halloween Flash Day.
Yep.
Lovely piece of a day.
It was a better pace than it has been.
Yeah.
Because Nikita's been doing the Flash Days on a fucking Sunday when everybody's off work with nothing to do.
Now, the last Flash Day.
Queues.
The last Flash Day was for World Mental Health Day. Ironically, because my mental health was in fucking bits by the time we finished.
It should have been called World Mental Bastard Day. Yep.
So, I come down 10 o'clock. Do a wee bit of prep because I'm conscientious because, I care about this place.
Yes.
Do the floors and everything, tidy up a wee bit. There was a queue of people from our door down past the Santander. And all fucking people wanting their wee fucking...
I think between Nikita and me, we tattooed 70 people that
70
day.
people,
and there was people got more than one tattoo.
And obviously I'm speaking with a degree of hyperbole here and exaggerating a wee bit, but because it was Mental Health Day, everybody had a fucking story, right? Everybody wanted to tell me why they were getting their tattoo, what trauma they had endured. I heard about 5 or 6 people tell me how they were going on to be a counsellor.
I heard some of that.
Now, as a former counsellor, qualified, might I add, I was, is that right? What qualification are you going to do? I'm not going to do a qualification. I'm just going to open my own practice because I feel that my trauma could help someone. Fuck up, you self-indulgent cunt. You're not doing that for any other reason than to tell people. The kind of person...
For your own ego.
The kind of person that they're going to tell you about their trauma and be like, yeah, that reminds me of the time my dog passed away and I dealt with it. And they're telling you about their ma or their dad or some shit. Just fucking stay in your lane, folks, is what I'm trying to say.
That's it. You're talking to two lads here. Fucking, if you want to talk about trauma,
Jesus Christ,
that's not even. There's a can of worms there that is never getting fucking open. Like
never. That's a Pandora's labyrinth.
Yep,
so it is.
Pandora's
labyrinth instead of a.
Yep.
But anyway, so yes, we're talking about Nikita.
Yep.
It was all to do with obviously her being a world-renowned author. She is now, one thing that we did when we came back was the books and ball gowns. She had like a function for it
on Saturday
night. Explain. You probably know a wee bit better than me. What is the whole books and the ball gowns thing?
The Belfast Books and Ball Gowns is a big signing that she's doing next year. A lot of famous authors.
Massive book convention
in the waterfront.
Yes,
in Belfast. And
I always knew her performing in the waterfront.
So she's doing this the work to keep people interested. She's doing
a series of mini events. Yeah.
Leading up to. So on Saturday night there, we had the fucking unenviable task of dressing up and fucking handing out roses and shit.
It was a dark romance
Dark
themed.
romance theme.
Dark
yeah.
romance
There was
themed.
two. This was fucking 40 fucking women and 2 guys. Were we only 2? No, there was me, you. There was Connor was there.
Big
as well.
Connor, lovely fella. Big
Good
Connor,
lad,
absolutely
Connor,
lovely
and
then,
Kirsty, his woman.
And then some other wee fella that just looked scared.
He
He was
just
there
looked-
with his missus. Wee wallflower, God love him.
I says, "Do you want a pint, kid?" He said, "I'm driving tonight." I says, "You're driving?" You should be drinking with the lads here. Never mind that shit. So what a good night.
It was a dark romance themed, which for the uninitiated is right. I always maintain this: men watch porn, women read it.
Oh,
Right, this is the.
you see some of the shit they read too, Phil.
It is absolutely like here. I can watch.
Rapey shit and all, like
Yeah,
fucking rapey shit and all.
And there's elements of women getting bucked by werewolves and all.
Oh, aye.
It's
A lot of that going on.
It put me clean off Twilight. I was reading Twilight through a different fucking lens. Midnight Sun, I think it is. I started rereading. It's Twilight, the first book, but from Edward's perspective. Fucking brilliant, so it is. Always Team Edward. Anyway, I digress. So they're reading pornography, right? And it was 38 women, I think it was. And obviously, because they're reading these nefarious books, we'll call them, they have central characters. One of them, the Scream mask is very prevalent. That Ghostface killer. So women are getting bucked left, right,
Was
and
Scream
centre.
a book? Was it a book?
No. But this whole visage of the
Right,
Ghostface
okay.
killer mask is quite popular. So Lee was in a black vest and a
photos, I think.
Ghostface killer mask. I was in some sort of skull orientated
Half-faced thing.
half-faced thing with gloves, and our job was to, in a menacing manner, but yes, yet whilst remaining sensual. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, it's a fine fucking line
Oh, aye.
between them two.
It's a tightrope.
Menacing and sexually alluring and just downright rapey. Do you know what I mean? It's a fine fucking line. So we're meant to be all sex and everything. Now I turn up, and I want to preface this by saying I've been sober 12 days, and I'm fucking miserable.
That's a genuine round of applause. That man has not done this before.
For me, this is the longest I've been sober in my fucking life, and I'm miserable, but my skin's nice. So I turn up sober.
Yep.
Lee's 4 pints in on an empty stomach, so he is fucking wrote like a fucking Tennyson novel. Fuck me, he is war and peace. We're meant to be there remaining all demure and sexy. Lee is giving it stacks like fucking like he's listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, and it's meant to like essentially like hand the lady a rose.
There's a rose
He's there
for
saying,
you.
"All right, love. There's a rose for you, getting there, you sexy wee hair fucking every fucking drink, so you are." But it was a fun night. Nikita posted a picture of you and I.
Yep.
Tagged me in it. Got a few extra follows out of that, ladies. You know who you are. As a single man,
Some boy, isn't he?
as a single man of a virile age who looks after himself to a certain extent. Thank you, ladies. So that was good fun. That was
You
good fun.
you just constantly feel like you're fucking Phil's wingman when you're out. You know what I mean?
What
What about her? She's a pillar. I'll go and talk to her for you.
I need it though.
I'm a good wee icebreaker.
You live vicariously through me a
do,
wee bit
I do,
sometimes.
I
You
do,
come and you go, "What year last night were you?" Oh, gee, rubbing your thighs and all.
Tell us about it. Was
And what did she order? She got a starter and all. Ah, fuck shit.
What size was her hole?
Massive was the answer.
Fan of a big arse.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yes.
That was a load of fun. Which was that last Saturday?
That was last. Fuck, that's a week ago nearly.
Fuck me, time flies when you're sober. Fuck me, it's genuinely. And I know you shouldn't pat yourself on the back for being sober for 12 days, but this is the longest in my adult life I've gone without a beer.
Well done.
Like, and the thing is, people are bringing us beer. I'm being
Mate,
tempted.
people are bringing more beer.
People are bringing, like, it's
I mean, there's beer out there, like a lot of it.
I can't fucking give it away. But I'm trying to do a month for no other reason, and it's nothing to do with like I'm drinking too much. I was drinking too much, but I was enjoying it. It's to do with, mate, it puts the weight on you, something shocking.
Fucking full of sugar.
So quickly,
Oh,
but it's delicious, man.
That's really good.
So I'm going to do a month, and then I'm going to see if I can do 2
Well,
months.
sure, me, you, young fucking Ian Mahood, and wee Tony.
Speaking of Ian Mahood,
Yep.
Sunday I was
Yeah, this is great.
commentating on a boxing show up in Ballymena. Not for the sheepish. Get it? Anyway,
Fucking hell.
so I was commentating on the boxing show there, and a couple of days before, I thought, fuck me, because I do it on my own, and when you're commentating on your own, it's a long house. Look, you're essentially asking yourself questions which you then answer. You sound borderline schizophrenic. So I was like, fuck, I would love if I could get Ian up and get him into commentary, just to have a bit of a rapport with a back and forth, because like Ian's one of our loveliest friends, and he is one of the most knowledgeable men when it comes to the pugilistic process. Pugilistic meaning fighting, meaning boxing. That was lovely alliteration there. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. Pugilistic process.
Good lad.
That was good. Anyway, so I thought if I could get Ian to sit in commentary with me and talk him through the fights, not only would it be incredible insight to bring Ian on board, but it would also cut my work in half.
Did he end up cornering a guy that night as well?
End up cornering the main event. But mate, talk about a duck to water. He was incredible, and don't get me wrong. Like, I know how knowledgeable he is, but also to have the eloquence
to be able to kind of fucking alliterate it.
To communicate
he's very good at, even on the podcast here, man. I mean, I didn't really know what they expect.
Yeah,
just
no, mate, he is
very, very clean, very
fire and so sharp. Just when it comes to the eloquence of, and not only that, but doing it in a way that is accessible.
Yeah,
like breaking it down for people to understand for the lay person, because I always equate it to, imagine you're trying to describe to somebody what's happening.
You've never seen it.
You've never seen a fight before, and mate, he was fucking top drawer. So I'm gonna do my best if I'm doing boxing shows to bring the great and powerful Mr. Ian Mahood with me.
Some boy.
Jack, why you put your hand up for?
Go ahead.
Every weekend there's a fight on TV.
He's commentating. He's commentating.
Do you know what?
Or he's in the corner.
Throw
a backhand.
He's a smart motherfucker.
I even got him his lunch in a wee selection box. Just as a wee.
We Tony went quiet yesterday on the we have a group chat. We'll just chat all day long on it.
Yes, we do.
Just mindless shit. And you always know Tony's had a smoky joint.
Why do we know Tony's had a smoky joint?
Because he just disappears, doesn't he? and then everybody's looking for him. Everybody's like, Tony, are you all right, mate? Because he's our wee fucking was he a prodigy? Isn't he?
I don't know.
I don't want to be a prodigy because we've done some bad shit.
Prodigy.
I want him to be better than us.
Prodigy. I don't know what religion he is. But he's a good lad.
He's a sweetheart of a kid.
We've kind of taken Tony under the wing a wee bit, and it's kind of
through mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Through our love.
And then I gave him a number about 4 years ago, and he just kept texting.
He broke you down, and then you brought him on board, because I'm not good at new people. I don't like new people. Tony's probably the last one I'm willing to take on.
I made the same as me. I wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
What a kid! But he does. He
had a wee smoke last night.
He had his first wee joint in Amsterdam last year, and he loves it now. You know what I mean? So we're trying to. We're trying to make sure it doesn't go any further than that.
Exactly.
But he's a smart kid.
But
fuck, he gets stoned and then he just disappears.
Well, you're one extreme to the other. Like he disappears. I could not get fucking rid of you when you've had a fucking joint in you. Like, Phil, do you ever think you'd win a fight between like a marmoset and a walrus? The walrus has a knife and the marmoset has a gun, but the gun has no bullets in it, and the walrus doesn't know that though. All right, mate, cheers. Appreciate that, man. Good conversation. But yes, so that's basically been our week in summation.
I'm glad to be back, mate. It feels like we've had a couple of weeks off this year.
We have, because I was in Tenerife.
We've got our fucking new gear now. Everyone just, mate, it just feels like it's going to be a nice day.
It does. I mean, always
just days. It just feels like it's going to be.
To be fair, it always feels like a nice day when we're down here, because this studio is just it's a wonderful little mystical land of enchantment, and a wonderful wee environment has been curated and cultivated by yourself.
I get that wee lad of mine to fucking clean that back room down there. He's just disgusting.
Yeah, I came in yesterday. I did a deep clean, and I purposefully left that fucking back room because
my boy's off school
Christ.
This week, and he comes down and hangs in the studio with us, and he's out in a scooter and he fucks about. But that room out there,
as an 11, 12-year-old boy, like, are they all just grubby wee bastards? And I love Isaac. I love him with all my heart. You know, that wee man has my heart without a shadow of a doubt. But he's a grubby wee her of a human being.
Fucking bedroom, man. I'm actually refused. I'm having a Mexican standoff in his bedroom here. I can't.
Here, do you know what he fucking did a couple of days ago? Right, so obviously you were in Encastle.
I was in Castle.
You were in Encastle.
He was up
and so I picked Nikita and Isaac up, bring to the studio, and he had like hacksaws and everything, because he loves working away bits and pieces. So we get out of the car and everything, drive home that night. Wake up the next day and there's a hacksaw sitting on my passenger seat. I come in and be like, Isaac, what the fuck's that hacksaw doing there? He's like, oh, I knew you had a date on Friday and I was hoping if I left it there, you'd forget about it. And then the girl would get in the car and see the hacksaw. I was like
a serial killer. I didn't even think about that.
I was like, what goes on in your head? 12 years old, you're a cockblocking wee bastard. I even called him a cockblock and explained what a cockblock was. And I was like, you, sir, are a cockblock. So that's your ken, mate.
Yep, that's what we're up against.
But yeah, spooky season.
Spooky season.
Yes,
yep. Do you like Halloween? My wife's misses Halloween, so I kind of lean into it a bit with her.
I feel like it has been corrupted and co-opted by sluts, basically.
Right, okay.
So like Halloween, it's the one night of the year where it's like a girl can put on like a bikini and cat ears and be like, I'm a sexy cat. Can put on a bikini and a fucking
set of cat ears,
a pair of glasses, and be like, I'm a sexy nerd. It's like, you're just dressed like a her. Stop that, would you? But Halloween, I like spooky season. Spooky season's all year round for me when it comes to sort of the paranormal. And I like that there's a little bit more prominence about it in and around Halloween. I like Halloween season.
Dude, I mean,
I don't do anything mad for it. Like
no. Well, I mean, fucking. We were in here. I would always like to stick wee fucking like a wee get-togethers and shit on. But we're in here all day yesterday, and by the time 8 o'clock came around, I was just like, I'm going home.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
And then yesterday's my dad's anniversary.
Yeah.
7 years.
That's fucking crazy.
Well, you know the funny thing.
Do you pay any attention to it?
No.
Is it a thing?
No, I don't. It doesn't. It's whatever ducks back. The only reason I thought about it this year is because I'm in a group chat with the two brothers.
Yeah.
Gary and Glenn. And Glenn had said, fuck lad, 7 years. And I never wouldn't even have thought about it otherwise. Yeah. But he always said, he says, I want to fucking die on Halloween, come back and haunt you all. Fucking Halloween, mate. Right enough. To the hour. I think it was just after midnight. He passed away in the Halloween day. You know what I mean?
That's fucking crazy. Shout out Shefty. What a man.
What a guy.
What a man. But the Halloween spooky season, do you pay any more? Obviously, like we are probably a wee bit more aware of maybe the paranormal and the otherworldly than a lot of people. Do you pay any more?
How much that do you think goes to like experiences with your drugs and stuff? I mean, definitely
especially mushrooms.
Mushrooms opens it up to
especially mushrooms. I believe
your third eye screams open with mushrooms.
I believe mushrooms lifts the veil, and you're maybe seeing things that are always there. That have always been there and are always there all the time. You're just peeking behind the curtain a wee bit, so to speak.
How many times have you been on mushrooms? And me and you have both said the same thing.
Exactly,
this room is fucking full of people, or full of something. There's intelligences sitting with us right now in this room.
Entities or energies, and I think that's there all the time. It just takes something like a mushroom trip to open up that pineal gland and peek behind the veil.
Of course, kids see stuff.
Yes, this is a great point.
Oh, I like this one.
Yep.
Barry Fitzgerald told me this years ago. Kids that are seeing stuff in their room or stuff in their closet or think there's things under their bed.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that they are seeing shit.
Yep.
And the reason is because when kids are born, they're born without the ultraviolet filter over their corona or the cornea of their eye, right? So that doesn't come in until they're about 7, 8, 9 years old. So they have this whole thing. So we see, say this is a spectrum, right? As a 12-inch ruler. We see this 2 centimeter part in the middle, and we can see further in the infrared or the ultraviolet and the infrared.
Yep.
You would see a lot more. Mm-hmm. Kids can see that because they don't have that ultraviolet filter, and the ultraviolet, of course, is apparently what filters out bad entities.
Yeah.
So if you have something going on in your house, you stick a black light in that room becomes a safe room.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You know, so they don't have that filter. So I think that kids are genuinely see. We had a message from Carrie Keeble in Chicago. And she says for a long enough time, I think her daughter's like 9, maybe 7, 6. I don't know the age of kids, but I don't know what kids' ages are.
He's either 3 or 47.
But she's a beautiful little girl. She's called Dublin. But she's been like talking about it ghosts for years, man.
Would they get it? There's this misconception that kids are like the whole imaginary friend
thing. Absolutely, I love that shit.
You see when like people say, "Oh, the wee one's got an imaginary friend," and say, "Oh, it's just harmless." I was like, "Is it fuck?" And especially because children are more receptive as a conduit or as a prospective host.
Yeah.
Dare I say, for the likes of Possession, because of their innocence, because of their naivety, and because of their purity.
That's it. And they're easy kind of fucking manipulated.
Manipulated,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I had an imaginary friend. Eric, he was called Eric, right?
Right.
And he was this kid, dark hair, looked like me. I was very blonde. When I was wee blonde, like white blonde. And, you know, I used to sit and fucking play cars and Star Wars and all. That was all right. Years later, first tattoo studio, this big guy, 6 foot fucking 8, massive, heavy, on walking sticks, comes in the shop. And he says, get talking anyway. And I'm tattooing him. He wanted Michael and the Devil. Excuse me.
Archangel Michael.
Is it pen here? Aye. He wanted this tattoo. Archangel Michael defeating the devil,
Yep.
which is a very famous image. And so I'm tattooing this on him in the middle of his forearm. So we're talking about his kind of disablements and stuff like that. And he says, tell me, not that this was anything, but he turned out a bit gay and stuff like that. And we were chatting away. And I says, what do you do for a living then? I mean, do you work? He says, I'm a Christian mystic. I believe in Christ and all that there. But I believe in the mysticism side, sort of into the more Gnostic stuff, you know.
Is that not a bit of a juxtaposition, bit of an
Yes,
oxymoron?
it is, but it does exist. It is. It's like
Right.
it's like Messianic Jews. You get Jewish folks who believe that Christ was the Messiah. They're called Messianic Jews. So you get things that kind of
Gay dudes that love a bit of funny.
gay dudes that love a bit of pussy. Aye,
Right.
absolutely. So him and I get chatting, and I made a joke because I had, as a kid, that whole fucking legend of Robert Johnson and stuff. I loved all that music.
Yeah,
I was playing guitar. You know what I mean? So I did believe that I had done something similar, right? As a youngster, 16 years old, you know.
Yeah.
And I made a joke saying, because it'd been on my mind for years, you know what I mean? Was it a thing, you know what I mean? I made a joke saying, so you'd be able to tell, you know, people who are like spirit guides and shit around people. He says, to a certain extent. I says, I've got the devil looking over my shoulder, haven't I? As a joke. And you know what he done? He came over close and he said, no, and you've not to worry about that anymore. I know you've been worried about it. And I went,
That'll not shake you to your fucking core.
so I'm tattooing, and I says, right, okay. I says, have you anything else? And he says, you have a brother that's always with you. Nah, I says, I have 2 brothers and they're both alive. And he says, no. He says, this is a brother that your mother lost. He's looking over my shoulder now. And then he's going back. Right, okay, so he's here, and then he's catching my eye again. He's here.
Looking over your shoulder?
Looking over my shoulder.
Yep, and then
nodding,
coming back to you.
and then looking back at me and saying what he's being told. So I'm sitting there tattooing, like, and he says, no, you've got a brother. He says, what happened was, okay, so your mum had a miscarriage, but then the next one that came was you. So he's telling me stuff about my life. I don't know this guy from way over the border direction, right?
Yep.
He says, and he's looking over my shoulder, and he says, right, and he laughs, and he says, right, okay, and he looks at me in the eye, and he goes, okay. I says, what are you laughing at? He says, I'm laughing because he's laughing. He's laughing because you lose you can lose your temper. He's telling me stuff about myself that he shouldn't know. He says, you can lose your temper like that. And he says, yeah, but he's the one. See the feeling that you have of you kind of calming down. That's him calming you down. He's up in your ear, telling you it's relax, chill out. He says that voice is his. And I says, who the fuck is he? He says, well, he doesn't have a name because obviously he was never named.
Yeah.
But you could ask him, and then you'll maybe get a dream about it or some shit like that. You know, 'cause I'm not sensitive that way.
Yeah.
And then he says, yeah. He says, okay, so proof, right? So you look like your dad, right? Your 2 brothers don't really. He says you're the only one that looks like your dad. Well, he looks like your dad too. He's like a darker haired version of you. The kid that I was playing on the fucking floor with when I was a child.
Eric.
Yeah, who was the darker haired version of me. Mate.
Did that not put the fucking...
So I actually had to go and say to my dad, I says, now Dad, my man's been dead.
What age were you around this time?
31,
Right.
something like that. I was right in the first studio
Okay.
down the street here. So I go and say to my dad, right, listen, Dad, I've run this by, and my dad was always very open to this sort of shit. He had seen some crazy stuff too, like.
Yeah.
But I says to him, right, so I just had this guy in the studio. Just tell me, did Mama ever? Was there a miscarriage before me? Before? He says, aye, there was. Aye, how do you know about that? Oh, what do you hear? I sat him down. Fucking man burst into tears, and I'm like,
Wow.
Oh, I burst out. He couldn't believe it. Like,
Fuck
my dad
me.
wasn't a crier, but he sat there and he sobbed his fucking heart out. Man, I was stunned, but this guy just bum, stuff about me that nobody else could know.
Do you ever feel that presence
No.
around you now? Do you think now that it's been addressed?
Now, well, possibly. I don't know what way that fucking mechanism works.
Ethylene or whatever.
Do you know what I mean? But maybe there was a release there that lets him go or something. Or you know what I mean? Or maybe he had a job to do with me that once it's done. I don't know, man. But fuck, you're telling that's crazy, isn't it?
Make you
I forgot about that.
A wee bit less of a cunt. And now that you're...
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Campbell seems to have this preconceived idea that 15 years ago I was right. Okay.
When we met, right now, bear in mind, I was a wee fresh-faced 21-year-old, maybe. I think I had some shit tattoos on my chest, was about it, you didn't see. And I think a girl I was going with at the time, I think got me a tattoo voucher. Yep. And I went down to Diamondback with, I wanted Batman-oriented stuff, I wanted a Batman sleeve, and I had a book.
Yeah.
A coffee table book of like Batman references. So bring us down, there's nobody about, so I'm looking about. Hello? Anybody there? You bound out from behind the fucking what's happening? Fucking angry fucking Ming the merciless eyebrows and all on you. Right, what's happening? I was about getting the tattoos. Obviously, fuck's sake.
I wasn't getting all that, was
You
it?
felt me, you're the angriest hair in the world. And I think it was maybe like the day after Boxing Day or something, and you were like, the shop's not open, you know. I said, why is the door open? So it shows
That's a cheeky compliment.
Aye. So shows you all this. So he's like, do something else. And that was my first. I mean, I came away from that thinking, what a wanker. Good, you're the angriest wee man coming out your wee beanie and your check shirt. What's happening? Fucking gesticulating like fuck. But here, it turned out all right.
We got there in the end.
We did indeed. We did indeed, brother. Wouldn't have it any other way. Speaking of, so the old shop to the new shop. Beautiful segue here on my part. There's activity in here.
There's activity in here.
Undeniably, there is activity. I think now everybody who has spent any length of time in this place has experienced.
Well, Isaac, that's twice now he's seen a grey suited man.
Yeah.
And I had my first experiences there.
There's going to be a ley line for something.
Aye, well, that's it. They're fucking everywhere. So if you're sitting on an energy lines, you're going to, things can travel.
Exactly,
that's what that is. But
it's more not necessarily an entity, but the memory of the entity.
I didn't have an experience until you were gone, or I think you were maybe away. Nikita had went to the gym, so I had to spend an hour hanging about here just on my own. And nothing. I've had nothing like.
Yeah.
You know, everybody around me's had stuff happening. I had nothing. So I'm lying in there, the TV on. And the next thing I hear, dum, 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 out here. I came out. I said, hello. Door's still locked. And the first thing I do, got the voice recorder on the phone.
EVP, yeah.
EVP. And it says, okay, I hear you. This is the first time it's happened to me. So I'm going to leave this here, this box, set it down. You go and talk into that box, that wee black thing, and tell me who you are and what's going on.
So just before you go, what is EVP, just for people? Because we say that quite casually, so
electronic
explain what EVP
voice
is.
phenomenon. So if you capture something on a digital recording,
Yep.
it picks up frequencies that you can't hear with the ear.
Okay.
So that's all right. Give it 30 seconds and come back, stick it on, and I'm listening. You hear me talking to my fucking snake on the way in the door. Oh, hey, I fucking know my favourite thing in the world, blah, blah, blah.
Now, just to preface this, Lee has an actual snake. This wasn't like, talking to a snake on the way in. I love you. He wasn't talking to his cock or anything.
No, I wasn't talking to my dick. It's not as big as that. Anyway.
So you're busy in your cell. You're going about doing your thing.
I went about my business. 30 seconds I left it on for. It wasn't long. Because I felt, again, it was the first time that I felt something fucking like here.
Yeah, a presence.
Like when I walked out here and left that box down, there was just a cold pillar of something here. So I'm assuming that I walked through through the fucking.
Do you know what I like in it too? It's that feeling of knowing you're being watched.
Oh, aye.
Or knowing that, you see, if you're having it, like you did to me yesterday, like you see if you're having a wee doze and you can sense that you're being watched and you wake up.
Yeah.
That is what that, for anyone who's never experienced it, that's what that feeling is like. It's knowing that you're just not on your own.
You're not on your
It's
own.
hard to describe. It's a very.
But this was a tangible cold patch just there behind you. And
Well, that's relatable to something Ian said as well. I'll go back to that.
right, so I listen back to the thing, and you hear me talking, and then the next thing I sit down, you hear me sitting down, the squeaky fucking leather settee out there, and the next thing you hear, hey there, and a woman's voice, hey there, like or Heather, something like that. I thought it was saying, is that saying Heather?
Yeah.
But it's when you listen back to it, it's Heather. So that was that. That's all I've had.
Yeah.
But fucking, what was the one we in?
So you were saying this area for people who are listening. We're in the studio.
This is my booth.
We're in Lee's booth, which is so you have the reception. The middle is Lee's booth. The behind is Nikita's. Ian was getting tattooed in Nikita's booth.
Yes.
And he said he was sitting there, and for ages in his peripheral, he could see a
Something
figure
up there,
looking,
wasn't it? Like-
and he assumed it was you.
I thought it was me.
He assumed it was you, and then you came out of the kitchen,
Because he went,
and so
Aye.
this area that I'm currently sitting
yeah.
in, there's potentially
Something.
something
Well,
are drawn to that particular
next
area.
door here. You can look this up. Pollock Jewelers in Larne.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to Google it, because in the
He
90s,
exercised.
in the 90s, they were getting that much poltergeist activity or
Yeah,
shit flying
yeah,
off
yeah.
the shelves and fucking stuff being through at people. Like this wall away, it's in there, and they ended up having to get an exorcist out to fucking to deal with a possessed guy.
And everyone,
in the
everyone,
90s.
everyone thinks the whole notion of the exorcism is just fanciful and Hollywood and everything. There is a district, a unit, an office in the Vatican, whatever you want to call it,
That's
there is active exorcists within the Catholic diocese.
There is, and here do you
It's
know-
not. This isn't made up.
Well, here's the difference between doctrines and the religions, or in Christianity. Edmund and Warren, whatever way you think about it, they wrote a great book called The Demonologist. Don't matter if you fucking. Some people think they're quacks, some people think they're fucking legit. I don't know. I don't care enough about it. But Ed Warren had to get an exorcist out. He says that
Ed Warren of the Conjuring movies.
The fucking infestation of this house was that bad that he had to get an exorcist out then and there. Now he was the guy that went in.
This wasn't Enfield, was it?
No, it wasn't Enfield. That was in England.
Yeah.
This was somewhere. I think it might have been fucking Amityville, the Amityville house.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It might have been the Amityville house, which is their most famous case. So
The subject
He-
of the Conjuring.
yeah, the Conjuring was Amityville.
I think it was
wasn't
the
Aye.
Amityville house, yeah.
No, it wasn't. That was another one.
Was it?
Enfield was number 2. Anyway, listen. So he had to get this thing needed dealt with straight away. The problem with a Catholic priest is they have to.
Well, the problem with Catholic priest. Where to start?
Here's a tenner, kid.
Can you keep a secret?
Shush. There's a tin of Coke and a tenner. Here.
Get me a Mars bar, no deal. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
He had to get an exorcist out straight away.
Yeah.
The Catholics said that the Catholic exorcist says, I need a.
Because it needs to be reviewed. It needs to be
aye.
reviewed and
Reviewed,
certified,
yeah.
which can take weeks, almost months.
That's it. But even at that, at his quickest point, it's going to take 3 days. He needs to fast for 3 days before he can come out and do anything.
Yeah.
They need to fast and get themselves right. But the Protestants,
Those Protestants. Up to
did
no
the
good.
same thing. Did the same thing, same results, got rid of it without having to do any of that. So it just goes to show you that the actual what you need to do in certain
The doctrine.
the doctrine that,
Yeah.
that surrounds certain things and religions are to do. That's their thing.
I guess
that's
it's,
our heads.
I guess again comes down to the issue of faith. Exactly.
How much you believe?
How
that
much
this is
stock
gonna
and
work.
energy you put into it.
Yeah. I don't need to fast for me to be able to do this, so
Yeah.
I know that it's going to work anyway.
So again, it
but
comes-
this other guy's not going to make it work unless he does his fast. You
It,
understand?
it comes down to some practices that we engage in, that being of the occult. It's the energy and stock, ken and belief and faith
The
you put
intention.
into something.
Yep.
The intention. The intention is the precursor to the manifestation
Absolutely.
of that.
Absolutely.
That
Yep.
so to speak. But yes, so there's activity. Like I've sensed things in here. I've heard.
Keys
Either,
or chain or something.
it was either keys or a chain jangling in my ear.
Which is because out the back was where they locked up the chained up
And
the horses.
we didn't know this until
Yes.
after we did a wee bit of digging after all these things. So it was either keys or like like reins, maybe.
yeah,
jangling
you know what I mean? Or like the bit of a fucking
bridle.
bridle.
Yeah.
aye.
Stuff was falling off walls.
Stuff popped. I mean, there's no way that it's
No.
the screw head on there. Things click in, and it
But
doesn't.
not only did it,
lifted to fall.
not only did it fall off the wall, but you heard like a
Like a thump
like,
first.
yeah, almost
Aye.
like we thought somebody. It
See-
was 3 knocks.
Yeah, I think shit like this. I think talking about this here also.
invites,
we'll get a
yeah.
bit of ramped up activity in
Because
here today.
I don't know if like when we talk about that, it feels like the temperature's dropped a tiny bit.
Well, it's cold anyway. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it feels like there's been a wee bit, and I don't know whether that's just psychosomatic or whatever, but it feels like it got a wee bit colder in here. You're opening up the pathway, so to speak.
Give me. I mean, are you having more kind of fucking stuff? Like, are you having more experiences as an adult in the supernatural
Yes.
than you did as a kid?
Yes.
As a kid, you were blind to that.
Yes, as a kid, I wasn't. I wasn't aware. It wasn't something I would have ever given much thought to,
or even had an inkling
or
of,
even had an awareness.
even if you
of.
had something weird happening, you wouldn't even have fucking.
Well, you see,
registered it.
this is the thing. Now, I would always catch stuff in my peripheral,
Here?
and I always thought that was just that just happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Floaters.
Yes, I thought that that's just something. But now that you mention that, my peripheral vision has always been something where I've had to do double takes. Always. So I think that's something that I'm a wee bit more aware of now, and it's something that I think a lot of the time it's easier to dismiss seeing something in your peripheral, maybe hearing something, because it's easy to dismiss rather than think of what the alternative could be. So we have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to push it away and not think of the potential that something's there.
Exactly. I mean, I've had a couple of fucking big things when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That still to this day can't be explained.
Yeah.
And a good few as a fucking grown up as well. A good few as an adult, like, you know what I mean. But some of the fucking the one that stands out to mind was in Sunnylands, where I grew up, in a housing estate here up in the north. There's this after the war, they built these terraced houses, so they were just long fucking maybe 20 houses in a row, separated by walls. And what was happening was, we were talking about this thing seemed to be same people were seeing the same thing in the houses. This fucking weird, twisted, sort of fucking hag looking thing was appearing and scaring the shit out of kids, and parents were starting to see it too. And this is in the 80s now, right? What was happening was because the fucking terraced houses were all linked. You know what I mean? It was just going where it wanted. You know what I mean? So multiple people were seeing this. So me and Glenn used to push our fucking single beds together. You know, as kids, you jumped up and down on, just made a bigger space for fucking wrestling and all, you know?
Yeah.
And so we would have slept like that. And I was furthest away. My ma always left the landing light on.
The big light?
The big light. And our door cracked, so the light was coming in. So you could see the light coming in the room, and you felt a bit, you know, it was just always a wee bit nicer as a kid.
Yeah.
So I wake up this one night, in the middle of the night, and I look around. Glenn's here, door's there, light's coming in. There's this thing standing over the bed like this. Looked like, remember the old parka coats? Looked like it was like one of the things that had the furry faces on it, like fucking Kenny wore, only like a black one.
It
was like that, pointed hat, pointed fucking head, over the bed like that. And I shit myself, man. I remember it being the most terrified I've ever been to this day.
Fuck.
That feeling of cold fear. I stayed in there and I did not fucking move.
Element of sleep paralysis at all? Could you move?
I was wide awake, Phil. I was wide awake. I woke up.
Well, you're wide awake. It would sleep paralysis too.
Aye, but it was moving.
Okay, right.
I was able to kind of fucking pull myself down into a ball.
Right.
And hide. And the only reason that I actually came out was because I needed to fucking breathe. And I was gone. That was okay. Years later, I'm sitting in the pub. My dad, my kid brother, my older brother, used to go out for a wee drink at Christmas time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we were sitting there, we were telling these ghost stories. My dad was cracker ghost stories. So he was, here's some fucking belters. But I start telling this story, and our Glenn says, wait. Was it like fucking black over the bed? Like, I says, that's it. He says, I seen that too. Fuck. So don't worry, seen it the same night, because I thought he was sleeping.
Yeah.
So he's seen it on a different night to me himself. Do you know what I mean? That's just one of the fucking a few things. Like, mad, mate.
Do you mind when you were wee? You used to, like, if your foot was like out of the covers or anything like that, you used to think, fuck me, if my foot could get grabbed. You bring it in just away from the coverage. You're like, oh, there's no way it's going to get me.
Aye. How much that do you think though is a?
I used to sleep with my arse out of the blanket.
You were looking at
just in case.
You dirty cunt.
But I wanted to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Campbell.
Sorry, bringing the tone down, mate. Ballybully Forest is something I wanted to talk about, because I had a fucking experience in there.
Heads up, well, there's a lot of shit happens up there, but go ahead.
Now, it is one of the most haunted forests in the world. I think it's top 3.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that's like all fucking old pagan burial grounds?
Yes,
or some shit?
Yes. Like, there have been people. So it used to be a site for the Duke of Ed. Duke of Ed
That's
weekend.
Right.
So for those who may not know, the Duke of Ed is almost like an orienteering qualification you get 16, 17, 18 when you're at school and around GCSE age. So you This is back in like the 70s and 80s, where the child welfare wasn't as stringent as it is now.
Aye.
So an old PE teacher whose shorts were too fucking short would have fucking left a
balls hanging out and all.
would have left a carload of wains up there for the weekend. And came back and got them on a Monday. So
Or hung about with them.
so
Pedo teachers,
they would have had to do like orienteering, set up their own tents and everything, and like forage and all this kind of shit. Basically survive a weekend. But there were reports of hearing things that weren't akin to animals.
Druids as well.
Druids.
They've seen druids.
Seen cloaked
You
figures.
See cloaked figures walking up the lanes and then disappearing.
With like tiki torches and
That's
shit.
it, aye.
Hearing things like ruffling, and not even like you hear stuff ruffling.
Did you hear the one? Did you ever hear the one about? And it's directly fucking connected to what you were saying.
Go ahead.
About Ballybowling, where the woman and a guy were out walking the dog, and they could hear this flapping, like massive wings, right? And they went to the clearing where they thought that they could hear it coming from, but by the time it got there was nothing there, but there was fucking blood flicked all around the trees. Like in this clearing, like as if something had fucking demolished came
something.
down, ate something like fuck, and then disappeared.
And
Mothman shit.
I've seen it myself. There's carvings, like symbols.
Yes.
There's carvings and stuff. Because I used to back when I had a dog, I would have walked the dog right there. That would have been before I knew any of this. That would have been a go-to spot for me to walk a dog, just because it was good for the soul. I liked it.
What's your experience though?
So there was
That's
one
a smasher.
Right. It was about summer.
Yeah.
So it was about 4 o'clock or so. A girl I'm with at the time, we're walking my dog, and I know this wee route of Ballybully like the back of my fucking hand.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just a little circle really, basically around it, and it was grand. So walking the dog, but 4 o'clock, sun splitting the fucking rocks, beautiful day. And we turn a corner, and as real as I'm fucking standing here talking to you, turned a corner into darkness,
Right.
and it was nightfall.
So what do you mean? Like, so you twilight when you were there, and then turn into darkness. Or was it daylight too dark?
It was daylight.
Fucking
Mate,
hell,
it was
fuck.
daylight, and it's the weirdest fucking thing. And it sounds like I'm misremembering, but I'm not, because it's fucking stuck with me. Turned the corner, walked a little bit, and it was nighttime.
Aye.
All of a sudden, just like that, nighttime. And it was a wee bit unnerving. Like, fuck me, what's going on here?
Aye.
It's nighttime. My phone was at 70%.
Yep.
iPhone at the time. Phone was at 70%. Get my phone out. To use the fucking torch. Phone's dead.
Right.
Her phone's dead.
Uh-huh.
And it just, all of a sudden, there was just this horrible, unnerving feeling in the pit of my stomach. Oh, we felt like we were being watched. And we're lost.
Yeah.
Mate, we turned the corner, like we're like literally try to retrace our steps. We're not where we fucking should be. We're fucking lost. We're in an unfamiliar part of the fucking forest. There is no way tracing our steps. We should be fucking lost. So we think, right, fuck it. If we just walk north,
Yeah.
we'll come out at a clearing or something.
Yeah.
So we're walking for what felt like, and maybe I'm misremembering, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
But we're walking for what felt like 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Walking.
Time slip, man.
I'm walking.
There's
I'm
almost a
walking.
fucking-
Further into fucking darkness. Further into darkness. We're walking what feels like another half an hour. So in and around 90 fucking minutes.
Did you get a ride?
We've been
No.
walking out. No, mate, I was too scared to get hard on. So we're walking and walking and walking.
Tough wank.
And eventually we come to a road.
Aye.
And the road, we come out of the road, and it's not as dark, but it's still kind of dusky. We start walking up past the Ballybully Inn, is it?
Aye. Yes.
So
Aye, that's open again.
We come out about there, and we're walking up the road. See, in about 5 minutes' time, we come to the car park. There's no way we were 5 minutes away from the fucking car.
Right.
So the length of time we've been walking, there is no. We've been walking about 90 minutes. Conceivably, there is no fucking way we could have been that close to the fucking car. Bring out my phone. My phone comes on. No problem.
Yeah.
Still 70% off battery.
Holy shit! But your phone died completely.
My phone was completely
Like, you couldn't
it
switch
was
it on or
a
fucking?
breeze block, completely fucking off. And the whole time that we were walking, the dog would never pull on the lead. You know, you would have taken the dog off, it would have stayed by you. The whole time the dog was pulling like fuck.
Is that right?
To get away,
Aye.
to get away from something. And again, there was that horrible fucking feeling of being watched.
Yep.
But I've never been back. Honestly, I've never been back to the Ballybully. And again, like we came out, and it was maybe about, because we've got to there before. It's maybe about 25 past 4, but I swear to God, I swear on my mother's life, and whoever listens to this podcast knows how much I love my mommy. We were walking for an age. We were covering some amount of time, and I don't know whether it was a timescape, whether it was something. I would love to know if anybody else has had any experiences in and around Ballyboley, but fuck me, that put the fear of God into me, so much so that at the age of 36 as an adult male, I will not go back near the place. And I still, if I'm driving to Ballymena and driving past the place, I get the most horrible, unnerving, unearthly feeling.
Would you not go back like fucking us boys go back like for a
I don't know, mate,
day to dusk and then gone?
Mate, there's very few things freak me out, but that place freaks me the fuck out.
Right, my dad's Ballyboley story was this. My dad used to keep.
I didn't know your dad had a Ballyboley story.
The pit bulls are. So he used to walk the dogs. My dad and a wee team of lads in the 70s and the 80s were the first people to sort of bring in pit bulls in this country. I don't know why he was, but you know what I mean. I don't know what it was for, like, but they were good. They were
just
good,
really like the dogs.
They just like the dogs. They were good pets, you know, and. He used to walk them up around the forest and stuff, and you know he would have had a trailer that he would have had a cart on it. They would fucking all jump on the cart, and the dogs would pull it. You know, like cart pulling. You know, made them stronger for whatever reason. I don't know what that was for, but anyway, he was telling us that him, Archie, my uncle, I think was there, and Big Macker, the tattooist.
Yep.
This is in the 80s. Came to a clearing in Ballyboley where they were looking down and came across a black mass. Right. Okay, so this was a black mass. Everybody dressed in black. Fire going like bonfire in the middle.
Yeah.
They're dancing around it, chanting shit like that. They're holding staffs and stuff like that. They're like pentagrams upside down, pentagrams on the back of their things. Right? Okay, so they're watching this here, and my dad says, "I swear to Godly," he says, "we're watching it. We're about to shout something because we're safe enough. Dogs and all there." He says, "Nothing's going to fucking, you know what I mean?" He says, "We're about to shout and start winding them up." He says, then Macker, or one of them, looked down and says, look in the fire. They looked in the fire, and there was this fucking heaving, shiny black beast in the middle of the fire, just like breathing. He says, you could see it, just the back of it going up and down, up and down. He says, seen that there, and it was just like, get the fuck out of here.
They were summoning some shit.
Get the fuck out of here. They had summoned something.
Oh,
you know
fuck.
I mean? Not fucking Belter.
Jesus Christ.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Did your school, so every school had
the skull ghost.
A skull ghost. What was your skull ghost?
I think it was like a fucking, like a lady, like some fucking type of white lady or something like that. That's usual shit. Or was that you? Was that
no,
you?
ours was a headless butler.
Headless butler.
Aye, because obviously I went to Garntar up the coast. For people who may not know, it used to be the residence of Francis Anne Vane, the Marquess of Londonderry.
Did he lose his head? Did he? Or the butler?
Marquess is a lady.
Right. Okay.
So Marquess of Londonderry.
Fucking psychic now.
Well, don't you? How about maybe fucking use the two things at the side of your head and listen?
Right, go ahead.
Écoutez bien. Thank you.
Right,
Escuche.
So fucking Japanese, you cunt.
So allegedly, her butler had taken a fall, and had died and fucking broke his neck or something. Or it was called the Headless Butler because his head was partly like at his chest. So there was a legend that
you still make a good cup of tea, don't
we? Also a belter. We also had a phantom,
right?
A phantom shitter.
Right.
I think every was it like every school had. Do you remember?
Yes, mate.
So somebody that would just unapologetically take a shite in the middle of like. To the point where an assembly had to be called, and everybody, you've never seen suspicion. It was. Do you know what? It is better.
Was it a team of boys or was it more?
We don't know.
One guy.
We don't know. It was better than any Agatha Christie who done it. To this day, I've been out of that school 18 years, and I still don't know who.
Get it up on Facebook and find out who it is.
To the point where, well, in saying that, I'm like. I don't really keep in touch with anybody I went to school with. I didn't even get invited back to any of the fucking anniversaries.
Like half the boys I went to school with scumbags.
I saw that. Big fucking hurling playing bastards.
So, do you know about button cap? You've heard of button cap? You're bound to have. You're from Carrick, aren't you, kid? Button cap's the fucking ghost of Carrick Castle, and it's a very famous picture of a.
Dobbins has one as well.
But it's the same ghost. It's the same fucking thing because there's apparently see the fireplace in Dobbins. Mm-hmm. That's a tunnel. Have you heard this? Tunnel right across.
Dobbins is a room. Dobbins is a haunted room.
Has it got a haunted room? Has it?
Allegedly. Yeah. But yeah. Dobbins, hit us up and we'll do an overnight there. And we'll set up the cameras.
Let's actually fucking do here. Would you be up for that? Do we overnight in the haunted part of Dobbins?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, button cap was the. So do you know them fucking medieval ruffles?
Yeah.
So the image of them used to be a chippy in Carrick. Had a painting of him.
Right.
It's just him carrying his head.
Okay.
Boy with a bearded face and just the ruffles around his neck. And he was called Button Cap. And in the fucking mid-70s, every cunt in Carrick had descended down to the castle because somebody had seen Button Cap along the battlements. Flying about, right? Turned out to be a fucking snowy owl, like a white owl, had been flying across back and forward, but somebody said, "There's fucking Button Cap." All the Carrick then was down fucking trying to get photographs and all. But there you go. So he apparently haunts the fucking tunnel from Dobbins too. We should do that. Dobbins would be great.
I'd be well up for that.
Yep.
Do you, obviously Irish culture, mythology is like
Banshee.
steep. Yes. Now I have my own personal favourite when it comes to Irish mythology. The Dullahan. Are you aware of the Dullahan?
Yes.
So the Dullahan is essentially a headless horseman, if you will.
Do you know the story of it? Do you? Do you know where it came from? There's a lot of headless horseman lore around here.
It's a headless horseman lore. What I know of the Dullahan, and I've written a wee bit down about it. There was an Irish poem that described. Have you heard the description of the Dullahan?
Oh, go ahead.
So right. I'm going to put on my best sort of Foy Vance reading voice here. Have you seen the stuff he's doing where he's like reading passages and stuff?
He's fucking brilliant. So
Fuck me, Jesus Christ. That boy should do audiobooks. So it refers to a headless horseman. Such a head no mortal ever saw before. It looked like a log of cream cheese.
Right.
Hung around with black puddings. Enlivened, no speck of colour, the ashy paleness of the skin lay stretched over the unearthly surface, almost like the parchment head of a drum. Two fiery eyes of prodigious circumference, with a strange and irregular motion, flared like meteors.
Right.
I think that's a fucking brilliant
When was
description.
Is that like 1700s? This is written.
Early 1800s for a poem by some unnamed poet, I guess. But the lore was that he was also he rode the death coach.
The coach to bar.
So this coach would pull up, and the axle was allegedly made of human spine.
Okay.
The spokes of the wheels were made of human thigh bone.
Right, okay.
That he would pull up at the house, and if you seen him,
You were going. That's it.
either it was either foretelling death in the family or some horrible misfortune.
Yeah.
And he would have, almost like the farrier of souls, so to speak, would take you from one to the next, and you had no fucking choice in the matter. I fucking love that kind of. Could you imagine this cunt pulling up his head and his fucking arm, fucking headless horses? He's saying,
"Get in,
big man,
let's go.
It's your time.
Time to go."
That's my the
Coach to bar.
The Dullahan's my favourite. The Banshee is also steeped in Irish culture. Educate me a wee bit on the Banshee.
Banshee's it's one of the Fae, isn't it? So the Banshee was a
Faye Vance.
Fae Vance. Yep, that's Foy's
Sister.
future girlfriend. I don't know. Anyway, so what she was a almost like a fucking messenger. So
A harbinger.
Have you heard the Banshee? You were okay.
Right, because usually that's been kind of misconstrued over time.
But somebody it's letting you know that somebody close to you's about to fucking go. Now, Barry Fitzgerald thinks he caught the scream of the Banshee off the coast of Donegal. He has an actual recording. We should try and get a hold of this recording, man. We should get a few bits and pieces and try and sort of relate some posts to what we've just done here, But he thinks that there's a certain line runs through Ireland. I think, Barry, if you're watching this and I'm wrong, forgive me. There's a certain line, like a lean line runs through Ireland, but it runs all the way up to Scandinavia. Right. And you can hear, there's this line you can hear, if you're in the right place at the right time, you hear the scream of the Banshee. Now, there was a Banshee attached to the O'Neill family.
Does every family have one?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Now, my ma thinks she's seen one when she was a kid. In the 50s down in Lockview, there was a well. And they used to go down, early 50s, they had to go down and take her turn with a well. Yep. But she was come up, and these were wee wooden cottages. And she said that more than once she had seen this thing, but this one in particular, she said she walked around the back of the house. There was like a walkway round, a wooden walkway. She walked around the back of the house, and she said she heard this rustling. I looked around, and there was this wee, tiny woman, pushed herself back in the hedges, scraggly hair, looking at her. She says a wee bit of ping of light that hit her, looked like she was wearing like a green Irishy looking fucking
Shawl or
but
something?
it was like a hag,
Yeah.
like a wee twisted hag that kind of back. She says it didn't fear her around, like she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
looked at it and it looked at her and she went, okay, went in the house, you know.
Fucking hell.
Aye, fucking, there's loads of shit like that here.
Oh, my house.
Oh, aye, fuck, aye, that was a belter. Go ahead.
My house, yeah. So Lee and I were
We're having a cup of tea.
We're at mine. We were having a cup of tea, and by that I mean I was maybe about 14 beers in. No, so we're sitting at mine. We're having a wee beer, watching some stand up as we do. I think we watch, yeah. So watching, and we hear this. So I live in a wee terraced house. So we're in the living room, and the staircase runs behind it, an old school terrace, 2 up, 2 down, and we can hear like scratching on the wall.
Which we reproduced perfectly.
Yeah, we were like, fuck me, what was that? And this is, we can continue to hear this. Turn the TV off and on, we can hear this scratching on the wall to the point where I go behind it and replicate it by running my fingers against the wall, and that was the exact sound of it. And we're like, fuck me.
Now you already had a preconceived.
I already had a wee bit of a note, and I hadn't mentioned it, hadn't said anything about it, but I already knew that there was something in my house, some kind of energy. So we think, right, fuck it, we'll leave the phone out on the stairs.
Yep. Yep.
And so we come back in, we're just chilling out, letting something that's like, okay, this is your opportunity to speak if you want to communicate with us.
Left a beer.
Left a beer on the stairs. Yeah. And we listened back to it, and it is clear as you can. I want to preface this by saying I knew there was something there, and a lot of the time, like, I'm a huge football fan, which I keep relatively low key because I hate people that like football, which I know is somewhat oxymoronic and counter. Anyway, I would leave the house knowing that I turned the TV off, and I would come back and the football would be on all the time. I would always come back to football being on the TV. So I thought there was something. There was maybe like an entity that, and I always got that. It was never malevolent. It was never aggressive. It was never angry. It was always quite friendly and borderline comforting.
Aye, okay.
So I kind of thought there was something there. I thought I had the feeling of an older person.
Yeah.
You know? So we left the phone and we came back and we listened to it. And I think as soon as we mentioned football, about leaving the football on.
You can hear us kind of chittering in the back.
Yeah. When we talk about something, and all you hear is clear as day.
Right up in the fucking speaker of the thing.
Which is a football chant.
Ring of Fire, but it's a
Ring of Fire, but then it's been co-opted by a bunch of football teams and everything like that.
And it's an old man's voice doing it too.
Exactly.
Like, we have these recordings.
Yeah. And again, not malevolent or aggressive, but clear as day, to the point that, and you can hear us talking away in a different room.
Yeah. Oh, aye. Very different.
We couldn't, and it was completely different levels, frequencies. There's no way it could have been us. There's no way.
People like that hear that and they went,
"That's yous,
lads. That's yous."
They were like, "It's too clear. It's too clear."
That was not fucking us.
So now when I leave the house, I'll leave the football on.
Aye.
I'll always, just as a wee, or if I'm having a beer, I don't know if I told you, I've been sober for 12 days, but if I'm in the house, if I was in the house and I was having a beer, just as a gesture, just as more of a sign of recognition, I would leave a beer on the stairs. But that is clear as day. And again, there's something kind of comforting about it. Do you know what I mean? It's never, there's nothing.
Do you know how many people involved in the occult and involved in this here would say to you, comforting, is it? That's what they do. That's you know what I mean? We know a few people. I do not subscribe to that.
To be like, be careful. Be careful. It's trying to gain your trust. I'm too fucking long in the tooth and too fucking old now to be
fucking possessed.
That easy. like, dude, I don't even like being in here looking out. Do you think the fucking goetic demon is going to want to be in here and be like, I want to look through Phil Campbell's eyes? I have seen some shit. It's like fucking Nam here. You don't know. You weren't there, man. PTSD from fucking
strapping it out fucking red headband on every time you go out.
First blood. Fuck me.
There, man.
What was I going to say to you? We listener questions and then we'll.
We got a few listener questions.
We do.
I gotta go to work.
You gotta go and pick up your wife.
Pick my fucking wife.
And keeping with the theme of spooky season, favorite horror movies, mate. We listener question. Can't remember who that's from. I just have it written down.
I want to see that movie Heretic.
I'm going to see it tonight.
Are you? Well, you let me know how it is, because everybody's going. It's like the fucking.
Give you a wee bit of feedback.
Best fucking thing I've ever seen. It's messed up.
Do you know what I'm looking for? because we're used to seeing Hugh Grant
As a fucking
as this
sweetheart.
lovely,
Aye.
wee bumbling kind of whoopsie daisy sort of fella.
Hello.
So if he's bringing a wee level of malevolence
Aye,
and
aye.
just completely fucking unbucking the trend of what he portrays on
Oh,
screen,
aye, the fucking
I'm really like
Aye.
this cunt was in Paddington for fuck's sake.
know.
So if now he's being like this evil fucking entity or manipulator, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes. But yeah, favorite horror movies, mate.
Well, I grew up with the Freddy movies. Like, I love them. The Nightmare on Elm Streets, slasher movies.
Yeah,
Kind
see,
of
slasher movies weren't for me.
I enjoyed them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I find it very hard to get my head into a fucking horror movie.
See, if I see a slasher movie, I'm just like, why is no one turning around and twatted the cunt?
Aye.
Why is nobody just turning like, and everyone's
Why
always
is nobody
running.
pulled a gun and put it
Everyone's
away?
always running. Have you noticed that?
Aye.
They're always running. The fucking killers
Black
always
people die
walking.
first.
Always.
Black
You
people
do
die
not
first.
want to. You do not want to be a black guy.
No.
And if in rural,
No matter how big your dick is, you're dying.
in the burbs, maybe that's why you made it the way down by
Get
it.
rid of the cunt with a big dick first.
But slash movies like the poor wee fucking white woman's always running.
Aye.
Man's fucking meters, like 100 meters behind. She falls
Walking.
once,
Oh, aye.
looks, and he's right on top of her.
Oh, aye,
Get
that's
away
it.
the fuck. And why is no one turn around and just be like, listen,
What did you think of like the Paranormal Activities? When they first came out,
scared the
fuck,
cunt
I'd
clean
seen
off
it
me.
A Blair Witch Project. I seen the Blair Witch Project in the cinema in 1998. Mate, that was daytime. I
That
watched
was
that
the
in
first-
daytime. I came out fucking like
Well, that was the first.
I feel a bit weird about that.
That was the first found footage kind of movie.
Aye.
Jackie boy, have you ever seen the Blair Witch Project, mate? Here, that is an education in horror, first of its kind, because people weren't sure
if it was real or
if
not.
it was real or not, which was fucking brilliant. First Paranormal Activity, I went to see it with a bunch of lads. Obviously, as you do with lads, making fun of me, oh, this is shite, blah, blah, blah. I was grand, I was still living at home at the time. I was grand until my mate left me home and there was nobody else home.
Nice, you know.
I was like, boys, just want to come in and play Mario Kart or whatever. Come on. Like, fuck me, it scared the shit out of me. I love horror movies that are anything to do with an element of demonic possession.
Yeah.
Anything to do with a religious type element to it.
Yeah.
Anything to do with exorcism, like The Rite with Anthony Hopkins.
I was going to say that's a smasher. Oh,
absolute belter.
where
Obviously,
Bal fucking.
I love when it's accurate,
Yeah.
and they use
actual demons.
Actual demons.
Well,
names.
Baal, if you don't know, so there's a hierarchy of goetic demons.
Goetic demons, yep.
And it goes, I think, as a Baal's number one. He's like the
general?
He's like the prince. So they all have like prince, president, lord.
It's a hierarchy, yeah.
Oh, aye. So they're all, you know what I mean. And each one of the 72 demons has its own set legion of 72 under it. And I think Baal's number one. I think Beelzebub's 3. I thought he would have been higher. But anyway, listen.
Where's Baphomet?
Baphomet doesn't exist, man. Baphomet's a made up image to emulate satanic, the devil.
What was Baphomet? Baphomet was very much didn't exist, but then due to the collective consciousness, was he not manifested?
Well, this is it. You know what I mean? But in which case, man creates the entity.
Yeah.
Right?
This is that's a great conversation for another day.
That's a great one. But listen, so the way it is that the satanic movement used the pentagram, which was always a lovely symbol of safeness and
A pagan symbol.
And a pagan symbol, but it's also the most potent thing. If you're in trouble with anything that's going on in your house and you flash the fucking pentagram, it's like bleach. It kills them. Don't kill them.
In
But
the same way that you will see pentagrams up in places,
Absolutely.
they're not a doorway or an invitation to an entity.
Aye.
They're cleanse. It's a part of a cleansing
That's
ritual.
a cleansing thing. But the thing is that Christian demons, we call them Christian demons, are fucking Islamic demons, the jinn. What they have is they can't handle the name of Jesus being said on the cross and all that. They're like, oh fuck, no. But there's demons outside of those pantheons that don't give a fuck about that. That happened to Alistair Crowley. He conjures something thinking he can control it in a triangle of arc and threw
Stepped out and beat the fuck out of him.
Stepped out and threw him against the wall and beat the fuck out of him. Right? So the pentagram was always the most potent thing that could clear a room.
Yep.
Right? So what does as above so below? What does the satanic do? They invert it.
Yeah.
And that invertation looks
3
like
p.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah, looks like the goat.
Yeah.
So it says, okay, that's the goat. Let's create an entity. Androgynous entity, so they create a Baphomet with tits and fucking goat head, and you know what I mean, and that's the Baphomet fucking.
Yep.
They did it. You know what I mean? That's what do you call that? Whatever the Padre Pio and all do it. The fucking. There's a name for that symbol. The Catholics do with their fingers.
I don't. There's a name for something Catholics do with their fingers.
Hold on.
Fuck me.
No, hold on. Give me a second.
I was going to Google Catholic fingering, but that's probably the wrong thing to do.
Call that the sign of fucking not redemption. The sign of But anyway,
Something.
so he inverts it. So you have Baphomet inverting it. So everything that the satanic movement
transverse.
was the transverse. That's why the upside down thing looks like the goat. So I think it was like the 1700s, Baphomet became a symbol of the satanic movement.
But there again, that raises an interesting debate about the manifestation, the collective consciousness creating these things.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if God
did man create God?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, if there was never, if the Hebrew God, if the God of the Hebrews had brought the wasn't an actual God, you can probably bet your bottom dollar it is now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you have 4 billion people on the planet all worshipping the same ideal of what they're looking at, and the same. You know what I mean?
Giving it the same credence, same gravity, the same energy.
Yep. Same stories attached to it.
With a nice wee feel safe of I am the Lord your God, you shall not have false gods before me.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
you know what I mean?
last one. Completely off topic, but it's worth mentioning. John Boy that I used to work with. Is Paul Hughes the best fighter outside of the UFC?
Yeah.
That is a very short, very easy yes.
He said that kid's fucking...
Even if he were... Now, what... Okay... Paul Hughes was, for people who don't necessarily know about MMA, we love MMA. Paul Hughes was the hottest free agent in the history of MMA at a stage there. Multiple offers from the UFC, from Bellator, from Brave, from basically Octagon, from everyone. He had an offer on the table from the UFC. Now, unless you're part of the 1%, lesser than the 1%, UFC money, especially at the starting level, is dog shit.
Yeah.
Paul backed himself.
Yep. Well, he's just, I'm not doing that.
Went to the PFL, took a risk, had his first fight with the PFL. His second fight was against AJ McKee, a man who had only been beaten once, son of Antonio McKee. Yep. This is two of the best fighters, not aligned with those 3 letters, UFC. Paul put on a fucking clinic. Yep. Split decision. Whoever scored it for McKee needs their head looked at.
Yep.
But I do not remember this level of furore, enthusiasm, excitement around an Irish MMA fighter since Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but he's also not doing the Conor McGregor thing.
Well, he's not. He's entirely.
He's
entirely his own man.
Too many copyists coming in after him.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure of spending time in Paul's company. I think I'm commentating.
I had the pleasure of sparring with him when he was about 16, for fuck's sake.
Do you remember when he was fighting out young Spartans?
Christ, man. And I was sparring with this kid, and he looked like a kid.
He still does.
What is it? Is
27.
Is he that? Is he 27?
27 now, yeah.
He must have been 16 when I sparred him. And he was all over me like a fucking rash. You know what I mean? I wasn't used to that, fella. I was just like, okay. But you kind of fucking good spar, mate. And I was like, who the fuck are you?
Good spar, mate. He is one of the most cerebral athletes. You know, this is one of the most intelligent young men I've been around. And a lot of it is self-taught. The man never has his nose out of a book. He is one of the most well-read, intelligent, and you see that in his fighting style. Wonderfully cerebral, informed by some incredible coaching from Pat McAllister and Liam Shannon, and I genuinely believe the sky is the limit for Paul Hughes. If and when he chooses, and he'll only go to the UFC if he chooses, it will be entirely on his terms to make his money and make his own statements.
Brilliant.
But I'm happy to wrap it there, my man.
I have fucking work to do here. People to pick up and places to be.
Well, fuck me. From me saying before we started here, let's keep this just about 30 minutes or so.
Get it nice and
fucking Jesus H.
Or
15. Fuck me. Sorry, folks. Listen, this has been the Bat and the Bandit, episode 12. My name is Phil Campbell. You can find me on PC Commentary. My number is 07. Get fucked. PC Commentary on Instagram. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, comment on all things Bat and the Bandit on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify.
We are going
Lee Rogers. Where can people find you, my brother?
Lee Rogers Music and L Rogers, ELROJERZ. Anywhere you want to find me, come and say hello. We love you all very much. Thank you so much for fucking tuning in every time and listen to our bullshit.
Slangafoil.